Bonjour mesdames et messieurs and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. Welcome to cloudy Paris, 17 degrees, but don't worry, you can already get out the swimming trunks. We are heading for the Caribbean today. And we have, once again, a pretty interesting task in our pre-flight preparations ahead. So let's head inside and we are going to enjoy the comparable silence we have over here in order to do our pre-flight preparations. And we've got a challenge at hand over here. So I will detail you the problem and then I'm looking for your solution. So once I've done showing you what the problem is, pause the video and write in the comments how you would handle that problem. Alright, now let's go ahead and have a look at our flight plan. And this is what it looks like. So we're going from Paris-Orly over to Pointe-à-Pitre, Air France 770 on the 777-300ER. And here comes the problem. So the 777-300ER in the holiday configuration, as Air France flies them from Orly, seats almost 470 passengers. So that is a lot of passengers. And on top of that, we also have to carry quite a bit of cargo. So you can see over here, our estimated zero fuel weight is almost within a couple hundred kilos of the maximum zero fuel weight. In turn, this means that the estimated landing weight is just under the maximum landing weight. And the Caribbean wouldn't be the Caribbean if the weather wouldn't be bad in summertime. So let's go ahead and have a look at our weather forecast. Now, here's the important thing. Looking at our arrival, we can see that from 2100 UTC, we've got winds variable 15, gust 25, 1200 meters, thunderstorm and rain in the forecast. Now, our estimated arrival time today is going to be, well, just about 1900 UTC, so about 2 hours prior to the very bad weather. But even within then, we have 2000 meters in showers of rain with CB's forecast. So that's the estimated weather at our arrival time. Now, if we look at our alternate airports, our commercially most sensible airport would be over here, Fort-de-France. But Fort-de-France basically shares the weather forecast with our destination on Martinique. So, did I say Martinique? Well, Fort-de-France is Martinique. No, with our destination in Pointe-à-Pitre. So for that reason, you can see that the weather overall is a bit of a problem today. Now, for this reason, we have already changed our alternate to St. Martin, but we can see in St. Martin until 1600 they also have thunderstorms in the area. So St. Martin likewise doesn't have very good weather conditions, even though over here they are supposed to finish earlier. But in general, we can conclude that we've got a widespread thunderstorms in the entire Caribbean. Now, this is normal for this time of the year. This is Caribbean weather. This is just normal. But nonetheless, it is going to pose a challenge to our flight. So, seeing that we are limited in terms of landing weight, so we can just about carry 2000 kilograms of extra fuel, and we have to keep in mind we might get shortcuts from air traffic control, so we gotta ensure that we don't land overweight at our destination. Now, here's the challenge. How are you going to solve this problem? Pause the video, write your answer in the comments below the video, and thereafter you can continue, and then we're going to have a look at my solution for this problem at hand. Okay, so let's go ahead now and have a look at how I'm going to solve this problem. So the obvious problem is we cannot take much extra fuel. So even though the weather is thunderstorms pretty much all around, we will be limited by that. Now, looking at our route towards our destination, we can see that there are not many airports where we could land and refuel. Basically, the only one we have that doesn't have thunderstorms in the forecast is up here in Bermuda, or we could continue on to the Dominican Republic, where the weather is forecast okay as well. Only problem with that, we will not have the fuel to continue to the Dominican Republic. And from the equal time point number 3 onwards, we are basically committed to flying to the Caribbean, as we no longer have the fuel to divert to Bermuda. Now the weather in Bermuda is good, so we could land there. So basically, what we'll do is, of course, we'll tanker it up so that we arrive with almost the maximum landing weight. But along the flight, we'll have to keep a good eye on the weather and how it develops at our destination. And by the time we reach the 3rd equal time point, we have to make a decision. If we've got widespread thunderstorms everywhere, then we might probably want to consider diverting to Bermuda at that point and wait it out. However, that would commercially be the worst possible option, because Bermuda is not a place where you can just drop some cargo, load in some extra fuel and continue to destination, or just drop the passengers off, put them into buses and just bus them to their destination and fly the airplane back empty. So that option is basically taken away from us. So by the time we reach the equal time point, we have to make a decision if we can continue on to the Caribbean or if we have to divert to Bermuda. Now, if we continue on to the Caribbean, then we gotta ensure that the weather is good enough by the time we get here. Technically speaking, St. Martin keeps us safe. However, the forecast in the Caribbean is not always perfect. So we'll have to see what our options are going to be at that point. Looking into our flight plan then, we can see that our other alternate airports, the farthest over here is Barbados. Looking at Barbados itself, the weather forecast is actually kinda okay. So Barbados takes approximately 1,200 kilos extra fuel. So looking at the operational impacts down here, a ton extra fuel burns 200 more. So if we take 200 extra, we arrive with 1,600 more in the tanks. That just about gives us the fuel for Barbados. But then again, Barbados is also reporting CBs, so it's also not the best weather conditions. Generally, experience flying into the Caribbean will show you that towards the afternoon, evening, in summertime, you will have thunderstorms there. That's just normal. So our solution is going to be fuel it all the way up, and the equal time point number 3 is basically going to be our decision point, where we have to decide if we are going to continue on or if we are going to divert up to Bermuda for refueling. By that time, if we have a good eye on our en route weather all the time, we should hopefully be covered for most of our problems. Okay then, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a seat in our aircraft. Now, first of all, we're going to load our operational flight plan into the Universal Flight tablet, and then we can take a quick look down here. So in terms of the landing weight, we can accept approximately 2,500 kilograms extra. So that is what we'll take. So we got 81 by default, so we're going to make that 83.5. And that should just about make us arrive with the maximum landing weight at our destination. At that point, obviously, it's quite important to check that you can actually land with your maximum landing weight there. So that is something we'll have to keep in mind for our flight itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and do all of that. We'll start by generally checking the status of our aircraft here. So Aileron can come on. Let's see how the temperatures are in the aircraft. 17 degrees everywhere. Yeah, that's going to be alright for the boarding itself. Now, what I'm going to do is I will just open that window over here so that we have a little bit of fresh air over here. That way we don't need the APU straight away, and it is going to get a bit warmer in the aircraft anyway by the time that our passengers are going to arrive. Okay, so that's basically our fuel decision and our problem solved. Now, obviously, it does include a bit of a gamble, but generally we should be able to keep a good eye on the weather at the destination. And of course, we can do in-flight replanning as well in case the weather deteriorates as we are approaching the destination. So our operations control center can keep a good eye on the weather radar and can keep a good eye on the satellite image while we are not yet able to see what's going on right here in the cockpit. So good company communication is important today. That obviously makes it interesting. What are you going to do in case you have trouble with the satellite communication system and with data link? But that's an entirely different story. Okay, so let's go ahead and check up our aircraft. The engineering have filled up the oil completely. Our hydraulic quantities are good, oxygen pressure is good, and we'll do the oxygen test right away. And a quick look at the APU oil quantity is looking good as well. Alright, awesome. Then we can go into our FMC pre-flight, and we are going to load that good stuff up. We'll take the position from the GPS, route request, sim brief, set payload, set fuel, and select route. Okay, route uplink is in progress. In the meantime, we are going to fuel it up. We said 83,500 is going to be our target fuel for the flight. Is that transponder off? Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so load up that route, and then we can go ahead and do our calculations. Now we can already go ahead into the performance tool, landing dispatch calculation for our destination. Runway 12, and we are going to, yeah, just import the weather, because why not? And we can see that we can land at the max landing weight. However, it's far above the quick turn weight, so it's going to be a longer turnaround, but the airline will have to live with that. Anything's cheaper than just leaving payload behind. Okay, so that much out of the way, let's go ahead and select our departure. It's runway 25 that they have active in Orly at the moment. And we've got the Lima Golf Lima 1 Romeo departure planned. So Lima Golf Lima 1 Romeo. And for the arrival, it's going to be runway 12. So today it's going to be the ILS Zulu approach, and we have the Bowset to Alpha arrival, which ends at Reading if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and cheat a bit on our colleague's FMS. It ends at FSAT. Okay. Then a quick check. I do believe the Yankee approach should have an FSAT transition, should it? No? Okay, well, we'll deal with that once we're en route. For now, just make sure that we actually have something in here. So we're just going to keep it like that. Okay, route, activate, execute, copy, and then we can go to the route data page, load up our wind, and at the same time we can already grab our charts. So Lima Golf Lima 1 Romeo is what we are looking for. Now finding that is the hard point of it all. So, Lima Golf Lima, 1 Whiskey, Yankee, 1 Romeo, here it is. Okay, that's much too bright for my taste, let's do it in the dark mode. Okay, here we go. So, no speed restriction on here, that is very good already, 250 below 100. And it's for jets above level 115, so not a problem. Okay, excellent. And I think I just selected the wrong departure runway there. It should be runway 24, not runway 25. Okay, let's go ahead and correct that. And then it's Lima Golf Lima 1, don't let me lie to you, Quebec. Okay, that's better. Just to make sure that the wind data is still there. Yes, it is. Excellent. Okay. Alright, then a quick cross-check over here. We've got the departure end of runway, Papa Oscar 245. And thereafter via 248, 189, 191, and Lima Golf Lima. Okay, that's quite easy. Even I can fly that. Alright, initial climb, flight level 80, that's quite good. Means that we have a little bit more relaxed departure overall, because there will be less happening. So 3,688 nautical miles, and according to the flight plan should be 3,687. Very good. So LFPO going into the fix page with a 25-mile ring for the MSA, and the MSA itself 3,200 all around should keep us safe. Alright, transition altitude 5,000, and up here we've got 5,000 as well. And then on the init page we can go ahead and select our performance, accept the uplink, quick cross-check that the data is correct. So we've got 8.4, yeah, it should be 8.5 on the reserves. That rounding error is a little bit unfortunate. Cruising level 320 is planned, cost index 50 is correct. We have jet A1 fuel, so minus 44 degrees minimum fuel temperature. Cruise CG somewhere around 30. And then we can go for the takeoff reference page. Quick check if there is anything in the airport briefing in regards to a noise abatement procedure. So, airport briefing, departure. Okay, definition, general, coordination, TOBT. Oh boy, that's lots of pages here. TOBT, TZAT, not important. Even more TOBT and TZAT. Is there anything in regards to noise over here? Doesn't really look like it, huh? Would surprise me though. But that definitely looks like it. Okay, well. That's really nothing in there. In that case, we can make it easy and we can fly noise abatement procedure number 2. So we're going to take 1,000 feet for the acceleration height. Thrust reduction height remains at 1,500. Okay, and that is basically this problem solved. Next up we can go ahead and do our route check. So we are going from Lima Fox Papa Oscar to Tango Foxtrot Foxtrot Romeo, Alpha Fox Romeo 770. And the routing in itself is going to be via Lima Golf Lima. Upper November 491 Otofi, direct Aluta, direct Takas, direct Tamil. So, 47 north 020 west, 43 north 030 west, 40 north 035 west, 37 north 40 west, 33 north 45 west. Then we've got 28 north 50 west, 23 north 55 west, direct Bungie, Bozat arrival. Okay, that's looking good. So, then we can just check all our lovely waypoints. So, starting at 4720, making sure that the coordinates match, and 4720 is correct. Then we've got 4330, which is correct as well. Okay, 40 north 35 west is correct as well. 37 north 40 west is correct as well. And then we've got 33 north 45 west is correct as well. And then we're almost there. So 28 north 50 west is correct as well. And the last one, 23 north 55 west, is correct as well. So with that, this check is out of the way, then we don't need to do it en route anymore. Okay, excellent. So that good stuff is done. Then let's continue with our system checks. So everything on here is good. Voice recorder on, emergency lights armed. So refueling is completed, 83.5 is on board, seatbelts on, no electronics auto. And over here, nothing we need to do. Over here, likewise. So, pre-flight checklist, gonna reset all of those. On the com page, we can go ahead and grab the latest ATIS over here. LFPO, And we are going to fly this one offline, so from the PMDG server, please. So let's wait for the QNH to come in. By that time, we'll just quickly set up the pedestal. Actually, I tell you what, we don't need the third audio control panel, because a flight like this would well be done with 2 pilots only. You don't need a third pilot for this. As hard as it is. But hey, on the other hand side, you do get to spend 24 hours at the beach, so that kinda makes up for it. Then you can do that return flight with 2 chaps only. Okay. So, all this stuff is done. Then, here is our ATIS. And we've got all the information Sierra at 1200. Surface wind 29085, slightly variable. Temperature 18, QNH 1015. Okay, and that's set, reading 320 each side. Excellent, thank you. Okay, and just a quick review over here. We got the windows. But, well, those are open intentionally, so not a problem. Temperature-wise, it's still okay in the cabin. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and turn on the APU now. Boarding should be almost finished by now, so... Closing that window on the FO side. Here we go. And closing it up. I'll keep mine open until the APU is actually running and providing air conditioning. Okay, window flight deck left. Yep, that is intentional. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do our takeoff performance calculations. So, zero fuel weight is 137.4. Now, let's verify that carefully. 137.4, yep. Gross weight 320.9. So a little bit more than here. That's 3,200 kilos more, minus taxi fuel gives us roughly 2,700, of which we are going to burn 400, so 2,300 on top is 251 tons. So we have 290 kilos to spare with a landing weight. Okay, then we're good to go. So then let's do a little bit of mathematics over here. We've got Orly, runway 24. Let's verify that we really are calculating the full length. So where is the airport chart? Here it is. And down here we should probably have our intersections, should we? So takeoff run available, runway 25. Yeah, I don't care 25. I'm looking for 24. Here it is, 24 from runway head, 3,650. Okay, so that's good enough. It is a dry runway. We'll import the weights from the aircraft, import the weather, and calculate. So takeoff 1, 33 degrees. Takeoff 1, 33 gives us 96% N1, which matches. Okay, it is a flaps 5 takeoff. Use that. CG is 30. And here we go, CG 30. Takeoff speeds 175, 182, 186. Okay, and that's all set. Great, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and prepare the airplane. So we can store U, we can go to the EFB app, or rather to the chart app, that's what I meant to say. Zoom all the way in, give me my live charts please, and here we go, thank you. Okay, that's what I've been looking for. Excellent, then let's go ahead and call for GSX, prepare pushback for position at departure? No, that doesn't work. And just now it starts to rain. Okay. Well, number one then, close that window. That's probably most important here. Well, and then we might just about recalculate for a wet runway, just to be on the safe side here. So, runway condition, wet. Calculate. So, full takeoff, 41 degrees now. Okay, let's do that. TO, 41, 97.7 versus 97.8, good enough. And it's gonna be a wet runway now. So, takeoff speeds with that is gonna be 163, 182, 186. All within 1 knot. And here we go. Excellent. Okay then, APU running. Ground equipment can go. Ground flight deck. Go. Okay, you can remove all the ground equipment and prepare the aircraft for pushback, please. So, release all equipment, close all doors. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel Hagen, and in the name of Air France, welcome aboard flight 770 to Fort de France. Flight time today, 7 hours and 50. We expect a smooth flight at an altitude of 32,000 feet. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. For now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Okay, ground flight deck. Go. So, please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. Roger, stand by. And can we pressurize hydraulics? You are clear to pressurize. So, 186, LNAV, VNAV. Runway heading is something around 241. 241, here we go. Initial climb, flight level 80. Then pressurizing the hydraulics. Let's see, we probably do... Yeah, we do have fuel in center. Here we go. Trim 4.5 units. And the transponder can come on. Okay then, pre-flight checklist and before start checklist. Oxygen, tested 100%. Flight instruments, heading 343, altimeter 1015, reading 310, set left. And set right. Pre-flight checklist complete, before start checklist. Flight deck door. Closed and locked. MCP, 186, 241, 8000. Takeoff speeds, 164, 182, 186. CDU pre-flight completed. Trim, 4.5 units, 0 and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed, holding at beacon. Ground flight, go. So, push approved, face west, whiskey 2, and parking brake is set. Roger, release brakes. Brakes released, and you're clear to start the push. Standing by for your clearance to start the engines. Roger. Before start checklist complete. So, after the update, we do finally have some proper APU sounds on the outside model again. That was about time that we get those. Kinda funny, on the right hand side everything is Transavia. Well, with a little Caribs there. So right side everything Transavia, left side everything Air France. We kinda drew it up right in the middle. But okay. Pushing back right now. Our engines are clear of the roads. The ground flight, you're clear to start. Roger, starting right engine. Right engine start. Let's listen to that from the outside now. So that sounds like a good start. Okay then, parking brake set, starting left engine. Let's listen to this one from the inside. I tell you what, I want to find out if we actually hear anything different if we open up that window. I do believe we should hear something. But I would kinda expect it to be louder. Well, let's wait for the engine to complete its startup. Well, that should definitely have been louder. Okay, we're gonna close that one down again. Okay. So we do have 2 good starts. Okay, he's disconnected himself already. Good. Fine. Okay, the clear signal is received. Flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right, neutral. Okay, that's only the TCAS. Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, auto, recall, checked, flight controls, checked, ground equipment, clear. Before taxi checklist complete. So, taxi routing is fairly easy today. Straight ahead, Whiskey 2. Then, still Whiskey 2. Onto Whiskey 1. And then Whiskey 1 all the way to the holding point. Okay, clear left side, clear right side, park and brake released, and off we go. 468 passengers, that is the number. I don't think I've ever had that many on any other aircraft yet, including any 747s I flew back in P3D. Oh. Hello there, Transavia. Oh, where are you going? Well, that's gonna be expensive, is it? No, that might actually have worked. Just about. Wow. Even though I'm pretty sure this is not something they would have done in the real world. Okay, so. Going forward carefully here until the tail is behind the white line. Which I think it is now. Okay, let's go. And that came unexpected. I did check to the left, but I really didn't see him. Okay, well, happens. That's what you have air traffic control for. Unless they're talking to the other guy in French, then you don't understand it. And then you don't have air traffic control for it. Okay, well, I'm not gonna rage about any ATC today, so let's just go ahead and continue that taxi out. And let's get rid of that GSX menu, then we don't have this strange overlay all the time. Okay, so straight ahead, we leave the apron and then the second taxiway to the right, basically staying on Whiskey 2. I always find Orly a bit confusing in terms of the taxiways. I don't know, the French just have that, that tendency to build confusing airports for me. Okay, so I think the first one is... is not where we want to go. So cabin ready. Might as well bring the radar up already. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete. So the first one is not it. That's Whiskey 3. Whiskey 2 is the second one. I mean, look at that. We've got Whiskey 2 right up here. Then on the second one, Whiskey 2 just turns to the right. And looking on the chart straight ahead would just be called Lima Mike. Strange. Well, so we're gonna make a right-hand turn over here, and we're gonna make a right-hand turn over here, and then it's just a little bit straight ahead. Alright, so here we are. Sorry for being a little bit silent here, I just have to concentrate going onto the right taxiways. So I think gotta go to the right over here. That's just oversteering technique here, don't worry. Okay, that was, well, that was nice to hide. Okay, so to the right again, onto Whiskey 1. Such a strange airport. Such a really strange airport. I'm really wondering how they built this, like, who invented this? Okay then, here we are. So, the right side is clear and the left side is clear as well. Okay, now we got it. So let's review our takeoff briefing. It's a left seat takeoff, runway 24, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, wet runway. It was definitely good that we did those calculations. Takeoff speeds 164, 182, 186. The SID straight ahead initially and, well, more or less straight ahead. Couple of small turns. Initial climb, flight level 80. Emergencies, we can go straight, climbing 4000. MSA is 3200. And that's it. Any questions? No? Excellent. Alright. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, the approaching traffic is all coming towards runway 25, nothing towards runway 24. So we'll wait until this guy has landed and then it's going to be our turn. And the guy is on the ground. Perfect. Takeoff. that was... Nope. Didn't intend to do this. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, let's not waste any more runway. Set thrust. Thrust set.
8 knots.
Checked.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Let's maybe pitching a bit high here. 400. LNAV. So, slight left turn. Make sure to get it on track. And here we go. Alright. We're up in the air. So, acceleration altitude? Man, that came quickly. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. And let's go ahead and clean the plane up completely. Just gotta make sure that we don't fly it into the overspeed over here. So, flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. That's the 777, guys. It can be rather nifty when it comes to speed control. Sometimes your flap maneuvering speeds are very close to the maximum speeds for the flap settings. Autopilot on. Okay, flaps are up. After takeoff checklist. After takeoff checklist complete. And then no electronic sign should have been on auto. Now that doesn't really make much of a difference anyway, so... Not that any passenger would turn their phone into flight mode anyway. It's only when it connects to the satellites over the Atlantic, that's when they start to complain, when the expensive invoices start coming in. So we're free from any precip over here. At least from anything that would be important. Let's just keep it down on a decent range. Climb up to some proper flight level at first, so that we got that out of the way. So the turn is nicely behind the weather. Don't need to worry about that. Set standard. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 57. Now. Checked. Okay, and that's everything set, so we should be good. I like those updated sounds. I do really like the updated sounds. Now, I didn't have problems with any of the earlier ones as well, but this is pretty nice. And those cloud models are as well, aren't they? Okay, back to the inside, to where the important stuff happens. Temperature is 11 now, so we might enter some icing area in a few moments. But here we come outside already. Excellent. And I'll just open up that speed window. I want to accelerate after we've climbed above this one over there. Because that would certainly include a couple of bumps over there. And we're getting clear of those clouds over here. I do have to say, those are really my favorite holiday flights. The ones where you've got really like bad weather conditions around at your departure, and then a couple hours later you end up in a place where it's 30 degrees, sunshine, well, a couple of thunderstorms, but that's typical Caribbean. That's nothing special. So, wonderful weather conditions in general. Okay, through 10,000. We're going to keep the passengers seated for now. Okay. And we're clear of the weather, we can start the acceleration. So, let's do the important stuff first. Arrival fuel 15.1. Zero fuel 137.4. If we add that up, we end up at 252.5. And that is above the max landing weight. With quite a margin actually above the max landing weight. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, first things first, let's go ahead and update that wind data then. Also, what do we have here? Recommended level 320. ETA 1840. Schedule 1915, so that's easy going. Okay, wind uplink load. Let's go ahead and load that in. The forecast will come in a few moments as well, and then we're going to re-evaluate. In the meantime, we can do some mathematics here. So, maximum landing weight is 251,290. So we can just take that calculator and say that 251,290 minus our zero fuel weight, and we gotta take the exact one over here for those calcs. So minus 237.4. Wait a moment, I did something wrong. So 251,290 minus 237.4. So that means our maximum landing fuel is 13.8. I wonder why the figure is so much out of place. Well, in any case, we gotta arrive with 1,000 less, so the obvious and easy solution there is to disregard that 0.825 and just increase the Mach number. Say 0.84, what's it gonna calculate? 59. Why is that? That shouldn't be. Well, in that case, let's do 86. $14.6. Well, those predictions don't really make sense. If we reduce that to 825, get 14.9. That is not enough fuel usage, if you ask me. Well, in any case, we are going to fly this a little faster. Or what we could do is 0 step climb. That should also reduce our arrival fuel. And then 0.86. And that's pretty much everything we can do, except for flying lower. But okay, let's go up to our cruising level then. Level 300 upcoming. And look at that. All of a sudden, 13.8. Here it is. That's what we wanted to see. We will arrive an hour early, but remember, all the bad weather is going to come in late. So the earlier we arrive, the better it actually is for our flight. Okay, so recommended flight level 320. Then let's go up to flight level 320. Set. Checked. Fuel is checked. Well, and then we're gonna do the entire flight in 320. It's interesting that the calculations have been so much out of place, those SimBrief calculations. But well, looks like the operational flight plan was not exactly accurate there. Okay, well, and with that, we are on the way. So, I'd say it should stay smooth now, so we can release our passengers. A quick word here on what happened with all those switches as I was lining up. My mouse wheel is a little still, let's call it, my mouse wheel can be a little bit loose at the moment and doesn't automatically stop when I release the finger of it after strolling. I strolled over here to turn off the wiper and it just kept spinning, and while I moved the mouse over to the other wiper, that's when it just set all those switches to the off positions. So, some of you might be asking, so shouldn't you have aborted the takeoff for that? No, not really. The seatbelt sign was still on, so nothing to worry about. That's the only important sign there, making sure that the cabin is secure. The rest of it, no electronics. Nobody's going to touch it during the takeoff run anyway. And the anti-ice, well, we didn't have icing conditions anyway, so what's the problem? And you can simply turn it back to the original switch position, and that's going to make your life as easy as possible anyway. Okay, so with that, we are now out of Orly. We have now decided on our fuel. We're going to keep an eye on this. Just in case our calculation deteriorates again throughout the flight, we are of course going to adjust for it by changing the speed or the altitude. Well, and then we can already start with the important stuff in here. Our preparation for the Atlantic crossing. So let's first of all go ahead and prepare that chart. So at Tavas, or Takas, we are going to enter Oceanic airspace. Well, we're going to start over here, so our Oceanic portion starts in Shannon. Let's just bring that chart up. So here we go, starts at Shannon. Can put that 410 mile ring around it, we'll do the other one later. Next up we've got Lajes, LPLA. Again, 410 mile ring, here we go. And thereafter we've got Bermuda. Well, we don't really need to worry about that one yet. So, FIR boundaries, we said we've got Takas. Takas, Tamil. That's interesting. I thought it was Takas, but yeah, it is Takas. So that one's gonna go over there, and thereafter we've got, let's actually see what we got thereafter. So the next one is then going to be Santa Maria at 44.5 north. So let's see, north 40. Well, let's do north 45 so that we have timely warning here. Or we could even try north 44.5. Let's just see if that works now. So north 44, 30.0 doesn't work that way. Can we do it that way? No. Okay. Well, in that case, we gotta take one more try. 44.5. No. Okay. Well, in that case, we'll make it north 45, just so that we have an early reminder. Here we go. And erase that stuff again. So, quick look through the plan. Well, that was a bit quick. Maybe with an appropriate range. Alright, that is looking good. Okay then, so that stuff out of the way. Let's check our first couple of ETOPS rings there. So ETOPS ETP flight, where is that flight plan section? Down here it is. So the first ETP is going to be between Shannon and Lajes. That's 586 around Shannon. And 550 around Lajes. Here we go. So alternate, we can already insert Shannon and Laches. And then of course, just for the sake of it, we'll put our departure airport here as well. LFPO. And that's it. Weather request then. So, trip request. We have Shannon, single request from the PMDG server, and Laches, single request from the PMDG server, please. Then we have Bermuda, TX, KF, again, single request, PMDG server, send, and finally they planned St. Martin, so let's get that one as well. Okay, and that's all the requests sent. So, then we can start looking at all the beautiful stuff that's arrived here. I tell you what, I'm just gonna cancel them all away. Here we go. And then we can just use the review page for that. So, starting in Shannon with the TAF, please. Very good, unchanged, only some light rain there. So Shannon is usable. Next up we're going to have a look at Laches, TAF. So, at what time are we going to need Laches? Window of suitability for Laches, 1341 till 1930. So we're looking at, well, 280-15 gust 28. Let's see, what kind of weather do we have there? Or rather, what kind of runway? I do believe it is a 1.5, but let's have a look. So, airport chart, runway 33 and runway 15, and that's 10 degrees of variation. So 280-15 gust 28 is 290 in reality. Okay, 1,000 to go. Rate of climb is good. So wind from 290, that's a 40-degree angle at 28 knots. So roughly 28 knots crosswind, we can say. A little bit less. Well, that's okay. We can definitely use Laches. So the weather over there is good. Then we can continue having a look at Bermuda. For that, window of suitability, again we can grab that from the plan. Down here, 1732 until 2001. And, well, that weather is good all around. And finally, St. Martin, to finish that one up. Is only temporarily till 1600. Thereafter, the weather is good again. Okay, so weather is good everywhere. Reaching the top of climb right now. Let's do a little fuel check. Should have taken 18 minutes, and it did take 18 minutes. 73.9 versus 77.2. We took 2.5 extra, so 73.9 becomes 76.4. So we saved, yeah, like 800 kilos. And the fuel used should be 7.1 at the moment, and it is 6.3. So we actually saved quite a bit in that climb. Well, okay, that probably explains why we have so much extra fuel at the arrival. And now the worst thing, we gotta burn all of that off. But okay, 13.8 is still in here. So that's good stuff, and I think that's pretty much it. So, accelerating right up to a 0.86. Here you see part of the problem with the cruise thrust rating. You can see the airplane barely is able to accelerate to that speed. If I change that now, so if I go to thrust limit and change that to become climb, then you can see we got a lot more thrust now, and now look at what happens to our speed. Really, the Mach number really starts to increase quickly now. I'm going to keep it in climb over here, because flying that close to the limit, I'm a little afraid we might just bust something there. Or rather, we might not be able to maintain the Mach number on the Atlantic if we enter turbulence, you know. For that reason, I'm going to keep the limit in climb for the flight. And that's it. Okay, so 0.86, well, we are doing that anyway. Don't even need to enter that restriction. When we enter the North Atlantic airspace, and well, that's literally it. So from here on, we can go ahead and speed this thing up. And then I see you when anything interesting happens, or on the other side. We checked the weather at the equal time point and it was indeed looking good, so I'm positive that we are arriving at our destination before all the bad weather is coming in. Looking outside, we can also see that the sky is still pretty clear all the way to the horizon, so it looks like we are on the lucky side today. Now let's go ahead and request the latest weather update over here. We're going to go for our arrival aiders, so Tango, Fox, Fox, Romeo, and we want to go for the PMDG server. Fuel-wise, we could do a couple of adjustments there, going back to econ speed and doing a little step climb, as it looks like we've burned a little bit more than what was originally anticipated. And here comes the weather. Surface wind 110 at 14, visibility 10, scattered in 3200, broken 4400, temperature 31, QNH 1017. And here we go, that is 1017 now set. Okay, so generally looking pretty good for our arrival. Now, the next task then is going to be to actually select the right sit and select the right approach for that. So let's go over to our destination airport over here. Sometimes it does seem to take a little while if you haven't used the tablet in a little while, but let's see if we can get hold of those charts. Alright, well, here we go, here we are. So Anna Ferrabo's runway 12, and we are coming in from Bosat if I'm not mistaken. And they're basically all just going towards AFSAT. Well, then let's have a look at the approach. We've got either the ILS Zulu or the ILS Yankee approach. Or do we have any RMP starting directly at AFSAT? That would, of course, make life easiest. That one's actually looking quite good. RMP Yankee approach. Going, well, doesn't make all that much of a difference, does it? Okay, so let's just see where the difference is between the two arrivals. So for Desto or for offset, well, we can basically end up in both. Makes it a little bit hard, but we've got a standard approach over here. ILS Zulu from Desto. Well, suppose we're gonna take that. So let's see, do we have Desto on the arrival? Yes, we do. For an ILS Zulu approach, then we can select the Desto transition, like so, and join up the lines. Okay, going down here, and well, that's probably arriving a little bit high, so what I'm gonna do is Saxos slash minus, I don't know, give me minus 10. Something like that, and if we join that up with the India Romeo, let's see what we're going to get over here. So this is what the new shortcut looks like. And that gives us Sax 01 at 240 knots, 6,500 feet. So we can erase that, insert it over here. Invalid entry. Why is that? Well, 240, and that used to be 6,500, so we'll just make that hard. Can't. But why? There is no conflicting constraint here. It's just 8,000 or below. I tell you what, then we'll just delete this. Now it works. Fine with me. So that's good enough then. Not the perfect solution, but a working one. Alright, so the speed is looking good, the transition is looking good, forecast is still in over here, transition level 100. Versus, what do we have? Transition altitude 9,000, 1017, yep, 100 is correct. So, Tango Foxtrot Romeo, I'm gonna put it in the front now, /25. Here we go, and then we can basically delete all the rest, as we don't really need all that stuff anymore. Okay, here we go. So, do we need any radios? I don't really think we do. Well, we can just tune Pointe-à-Pitre VOR, PPR, make that hard on my side, and that's it. So, arrival fuel is now 13.0, probably gonna be a little bit less. Let's actually calculate maximum landing weight, just to be on the safe side here. So let's go all the way to, what's that, 251.3, well, 251.2. Here we go, so 150 knots. Let's go ahead and calculate which auto brake setting we can use under these conditions, because it might be a little bit hot here. So, for the weight, let's go 251.290, so max landing weight, auto brake 3. We can take the reversers on and calculate. So, that's about 400 meters of margin using auto brakes 3, and that is what we are going to do. Let's see where we are going to end up with that. So ILS Zulu will also pin the start chart and then airport chart. So we are hopefully going to be able to vacate onto Echo over here. It's quite a displaced threshold as well, so 3,129 meters we have. I think the performance tool took less. Yeah, 2,555, so easy going. We need 2,100. So we'll be able to vacate over here on Echo and then via Romeo over to the terminal. And that's it. Alright, in terms of the other airports over here, we don't need Lajes anymore. We can keep what's that again? Fort de France, Martinique, and Saint Martin, well, our destination anyway. So that's that stuff. Okay. Well, then what else do we need? ILS Zulu approach, we need a minimum. And that's down here for a category Delta aircraft 265. So, 265 is in. Fine, then we can get rid of the tablet again. So, quick look at the checklist. There's no notes over here. Yeah, reset MCP altitude. We'll do that in a few moments. Recall is checked. Alright. Well, we still got to do the approach briefing. We'll do that in a few moments. But I will first talk to the passengers real quick. So your controls, your radios. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We will start our descent towards our destination in a few moments. Remaining flight time approximately half an hour. The weather at the moment, 31 degrees centigrade, few clouds on the sky and a light wind from the east. We'd like to thank you very much for being our guests today. Hope that you have enjoyed this stay on board, and we look forward to welcome you all again on board of a future flight. Thank you very much for choosing Air France for today's service. We wish you a nice and safe continuous journey, or if applicable, wonderful holidays. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you again soon. Okay, so let's go ahead and dial that altitude down. Something I love about the Caribbean is that they usually just clear you down so far, so early. I really do like that. Okay, are you ready for the approach briefing? I do guess so, respectively hope so. Okay, so threats for the arrival. To be honest, don't really see any there, do you? At least I don't. Okay, so well, for the arrival then, it's going to be an on-off arrival, and more or less straight onto the downwind, and from there we'll probably get a shortcut somewhere to the final, and that's basically going to be it already. The approach itself is going to be an ILS approach, starting at a platform of 3,600. It's a 3.2 degree glide. Together with the higher temperatures, that's more going to seem like 3.4 degrees or something for us. So we just got to pay careful attention to our aircraft's energy management, especially since we are particularly heavy. Landing right at the maximum landing weight, well, it could be hard to lose that speed on final, especially with the steeper slope. However, we should have some headwind over there, so I do hope that that's going to help. On the other hand side, turbulence might make it more difficult again. Well, energy management is key. Make sure that we reduce our speed early enough. Apart from that, we're at the maximum landing weight. We will use maximum reverse, auto brake 3, and vacate on the second exit to the left, and then go onto the parallel taxiway down to the apron. Well, the weather stayed good, luckily, so we're just in front of all the bad stuff. Do you have any questions or suggestions? No. Excellent. Then let's do the descent checklist, please. Recall. Checked. Notes. Checked. Auto brake. Level 3. Landing data. Vera 30150, minimum Sparrow 265 left and 265 right. Approach briefing completed. Descent checklist complete. Maybe one thing that we can quickly talk about here for the threats for the arrival. We might exceed the rate of descent of 1,000 feet a minute on the final here, just to visualize our approach speed. So currently I believe the wind was 14 knots. Let's just check that real quick again. So information November, yeah, 110 at 14, so that means 7 knots of wind correction. So we're looking at 157 knots final approach speed. We might get rates of descent greater than 1,000 feet a minute here. Now, since we briefed it, we can accept those. Let's set the new limit for us towards 1,200 feet a minute. That should hopefully make it a little bit clearer and a little bit easier. Okay, so let's get rid of that again. Apart from that, weather is looking good. We are prepared for the shortcut should we get it. And I think that's mostly it. So, first look at our destination up there. A couple of clouds at the sky for sure. Matching the forecast basically. Okay, so overall, weather conditions are okay. Not exactly the very nicest. Those broken clouds in 4400 are just going to make it seem like it's gonna be, well, cloudy. Broken in the real world normally looks like an overcast. It's normally an overcast where you got one or two little holes somewhere where the dentists might pop through. But other than that, it's normally going to be an overcast. So, well, we'll have to see if we're... As long as we're above the MSA, where is it actually? Oh, lovely, based on a waypoint. So 6,500 actually. Mounts up to 3,500 over here. Okay, well. So I'll have to see with a shortcut over here if we can do it. Gotta be sure that we don't fly into those mountains down here. But then we should hopefully be able to do it. Approaching level 250, signs coming on. By the way, you just saw the same effect again. I didn't mean to turn the lower electronic signs on, but, well, happens. So in this area, VFR traffic is allowed below 18,000, so we are definitely going to turn the lights on at 18,000. And apart from that, it's literally just flying straight for, well, the next, what's that, 60 nautical miles. So I'm kinda a little bit tempted just to use a bit of time acceleration right now, because there is just not much happening right here. No traffic, no ATC, no nothing basically. Easy going. Very easy going. I tell you what, I'll actually do it. So just going back to 4x time acceleration over here until we reach somewhere here like Desto or so. Some position where it really starts to get interesting. Because obviously I could start talking some nonsense right now, but just to cover the time, but let's be honest over here. We want to focus on the flight as well, do we? So a little look at the calculator again in regards to the fuel. So 13.9 is, or 13.8 is what we can accept so that we're at the max landing weight. Right now it's 14.4, so we got to burn, well, 14.3, so we got to burn another 500 kilos now. Okay, passing 18,000. Lights are coming on. Let's get rid of the sunshade over here. And that's our destination coming in sight. Okay, a couple of rain showers here it seems. Let's hope that our visibility on the approach is not going to suffer. Those Caribbean rain showers can be really strong. Due to the high moisture in the air when it starts to rain here and when it's really pouring down, that sometimes makes it really difficult to see something, and visibility can go down to single meters even. So we got to be a little bit careful there with that kind of stuff when we have an approach very close to the airport, like what we can see over here. Did I say when we have an approach very close to the airport? Well, obviously meant when we have a shower that close to the airport. Okay, let's go down to the MSA now. 6,500 is set. We're in VNAV path. Set QNH. QNH 1017 cross-check, passing 10,720 now. Checked. Approach checklist. Altimeters. QNH 1017. Approach checklist complete. Okay, well, with those showers, I'm going to remain on the weather radar, and you can go on the terrain, please. So, that's what it looks like. Just a quick 7.5 hours of flight time away. Right, let's get that speed down. Might need to use a bit of speed brake here. Or even full speed brake. Look at all those reefs. That's some beautiful water there, isn't it? The same in front, along the approach area. That's the Caribbean for you guys. So, speed is below 250. Speed brake coming in. So the approach path itself seems to be clear right now. Nothing to worry about over there. Okay, lights are on, signs are on, checklist is complete. We're on QNH. Maybe just get one more update. Let's see. We do already receive an ILS. Papa. And that is correct. Okay, that's cabin ready. Okay, radar vectors. Heading 250. Level change. Extend to the center line, please. Okay, down to the platform, 3,600 please. Here we go. And, come on. Might even need a bit of speed brake here to help it get down. Okay, 110 at 14. Clouds are unchanged, 31 degrees, 1017. Thank you. Okay, let's start slowing down. Look at that, 230 knots minimum clean speed. Okay, flaps 1. Speed checked. So, left turn, heading 200. So, let's see. We can definitely see the mountain, even though it does touch the cloud tops over there. Beautiful beaches down there, by the way. Okay, flaps 5. Reduce speed 190, and then a left-hand turn, heading 150, cleared ILS. Localizer armed. Speed alt. So, I'd say this is looking quite good. Look at the beautiful beaches here. Glide slope alive. Approach armed. Okay, let's take over manually. Autopilot off. Interesting, Air France is the first airline I heard that actually has the siren instead of the whaler for the autopilot disconnect sound. Okay, our fuel is down to below the max landing weight, so we are good to go. $20 knots of headwind, that is very convenient. Quick look at the approach area, so the shower is to the right. We can certainly see that out there visually as well. And the missed approach area, well, we can see that, it's clear. Okay, so 190 knots, that means we need almost 1,000 feet a minute to maintain the glide slope when it comes. Glide slope capture. Okay, go around altitude 3,600. Set. Excellent. So with that we are established. I am going to keep the I'm going to keep that speed. Well, I tell you what, let's go gear down and flaps 20. Cabin crew, prepare for landing. Flaps 25. So 157 final approach speed. Flaps 30. That deceleration was easier than I thought at first. Okay, well, at least that gives us a long and stable approach. That's also worth something, isn't it? So, landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. 149 knots now. That means we can make it 156. Look at this. And maybe we should focus on flying the plane a little bit more. $160 knots indicated. Well, that's what I call some speed. And it is definitely a little bit bumpy here. Typical Caribbean. So rate of descent close to 1,000 as briefed. That is fine though. Man, auto thrust is a bit aggressive for my taste here. Let's turn that thing off. That's quite an enormous thermal over here. And knowing MSFS, at some point the thermal is going to be over. Continue. And then it'll just make us drop down. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, speed brake up, thrust reverse normal. Well, we definitely had to do a little bit of work there to get that airplane down. Okay, so there comes the exit to the left. Manual brakes. Well, and here we are. Welcome to the Caribbean, my friends. Going to vacate the runway off to the left. Get that speed down, 10 knots, no further. Here we go. So, right at the maximum landing weight. And that was some pretty interesting thermals we had on the final there. Like, you could really see how little power I needed for a significant amount of time. I kinda expected that at some point we would be leaving that, that area, and then we would straight away start dropping down, because Microsoft Flight Simulator loves to do that. It loves to give you a little reversal of the thermals you've had. But well, looks like we made it without. That sink rate warning, well, I still believe the system is a little bit overly sensitive there. Well, that went quite a bit downhill. Okay, off to the left. And then we can taxi straight to the parking. So, stand number 8 over there. GSX, stand, well, gate 8. And we do not need a follow me. Handling by Air France. APU is running. We've got, well, no 3 minutes yet. We do need the 3 minutes, otherwise we can't shut the engine down. Basically what happens there is we keep the engine running for 3 minutes after high thrust operation, so that the temperature of the combustion in the engine kinda warms it up a little bit, so that the engine doesn't cool down that rapidly. If you let the engine cool down very rapidly, then those engines can lose quite a bit of their lifetime due to the quickly changing temperatures. For that reason we keep the engine running for 3 minutes, which we have now. Shut down right engine. Obviously we're at the max landing weight, so we gotta be careful that we don't get too slow now. Otherwise it might be very difficult to get the aircraft to accelerate again. But I think, like this, we should be fine without any thrust. Here we go. Just gotta be a little bit careful now, not to slow it down too early. And here we are. Okay, park and brake set, APU running. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Caribbean. Okay, shutdown checklist, park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. Let's go ahead and request the jetway and open the doors. So, set chocks, jetway request, ground power, well, air start inhibit. That doesn't make a lot of sense since we don't have an air start connected. Okay, here we go, ground power, request, air conditioning unit, request. Then we can go ahead and shut that good stuff down. Okay, so door management, disarm all, open 2 left. Do we have 1 or 2 jetways here? I think it's only just 1. Well, then we are just going to go with 2 left. And ground services, aft cargo, bulk cargo, forward cargo. And here we go. Okay, a little recall. Let's see, all of that stuff is expected. Oil quantity is okay. Messages are okay. Well, alright, that's it, my friends. Welcome to the Caribbean. I sure hope that you enjoyed this little adventure. I hope that you enjoyed the fuel management techniques over here. And most importantly, I hope you had some fun and enjoyed the beautiful views. So, enjoy your layover in the Caribbean. In 24 hours, we're already going to make our way back towards Orly. I do hope that you learned something on today's flight. Most certainly I should learn to turn that beacon off. It's just strange for me that you turn the beacon off after you have already completed the shutdown checklist. It's not something I'm used to. For me, with the shutdown checklist, the procedure is complete. Alright, anyway, I do hope that you learned something today, had a little bit of fun on the flight. And all I can say is thank you very much for watching. If you're interested to learn to fly the 777 like I do, check out my Ultimate 777 Guide ebook. More on that in the video description below. And last but not least, comment to let me know what you think about it. Like the video if you did indeed like it. Be sure to do that in YouTube as well, as it does really help out the channel. And if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe. If you really love what I'm doing, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. And in the meantime, I would like to say thank you very much for watching and see you all again on the next one.